Um. If you want to do roll call for us, please.
Sure will. Brian Venema,
Here.
Tom Stewart,
Yes.
Christine Fobb. Here. Emerita Keys is absent and excused. Sandra Gerlach.
Here.
Monica McHugh.
Here.
Mike Bertle.
Here.
Mike Bertle.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. So we have opportunity to check over the agenda.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Approved. So next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the July 2026 zoning commission meeting. Everybody looked at over. I do remember reading it, and there was one typo, but I can't remember where it is now. It was the word the instead of they.
I could always do a search for it and get it changed.
Well, it's probably gonna be hard to find because it would, it's correct spelled, spelled correctly, but it was, the word should say they. As far as that. Okay, it's in the page. The second page. The first full paragraph down there, it says. Near the bottom and whether the use should be. Oh, that's right. Maybe not, maybe I misread it.
I move that we accept the minutes or approve the minutes subject to grammatical correction.
Perfect.
I'll second. Go ahead. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes. Next on our agenda is the work session for the draft, the high density computing facilities ordinance. So Becca, you want to take it from where you must, we should start at?
I shall. So what I wanted to tonight was to first show you what was changed based on our July meeting, and then give you a few additional things that I have come across through continued research that I think are worth keeping in the back of our minds. So the summary of key revisions that were incorporated into the August 17th, 2026 working draft include the property line setbacks and recorded waivers in section 5, the non-emergency generator testing and maintenance in section 6, scenic byway and visual resource review in section 12, visual impact or view shed analysis in sections 4 and 12, security fencing during decommissioning, sections 12 and 15. Road repair and financial assurance in section 14. Applicant, developer, and action holder acknowledgement in section 15. And then there were some drafting and tax reference corrections. Any discussion on any of that? Changes? Okay, then leave those as they are.
Have you gotten anything back from the county attorney's office on any of the reviews yet?
Yeah, I was gonna. No.
Okay. So we're kind of
So we're
waiting on
Yeah,
them.
we do anything.
Right, yes, which that's kind of what we decided. We were gonna be in a little bit of a holding pattern
Yeah.
with this one anyway, and move on since we have the Board of Supervisors did sign the 1-year extension on the moratorium. So we've got a little time we're gonna let some things play out, and wait for agency review. So the few things that I do have to go over don't really necessarily we don't have to have a lot of discussion on, since we're kind of going to wait. But I wanted to get them in front of you. So the setbacks, that was one thing I was going to, research, was what other counties were doing for setbacks. We're intentionally leaving it at, 1,000 or 1,320. At this time, though, other counties are kind of also in the same boat that we're in. Some of them have ordinances, and now some of them are jumping back on the moratorium and redoing their ordinances. I think it's Jones County tomorrow, Board of Supervisors. They adopted their ordinance last year. They look like on their agenda is to pass another moratorium and do further research. So everything's changing, so we'll just I'll keep updating the document as we go with that.
I haven't paid much attention, well, I've paid some attention, but are you familiar with what the state government is planning as far as imposing statewide? Because they were talking about that with the windmills for a while.
They were.
And have you heard any rumbles of, are they gonna try and do the same thing?
I haven't heard any rumbles yet.
Well, both candidates are
They're talking about it.
Yeah,
whether or not, once they get, whoever gets elected, whether or not they will get anything done that way is a good question.
right, yes. And I think that is timing wise, our moratorium and Doug has a good time with that, with the new.
Let's see,
election,
see how it shakes out.
See how it shakes out a little bit. And that could be why a lot of the other counties are having a moratorium again, just to,
Yeah.
and some guidance with some things would be good, but then, we kind of do want to keep it unique.
You can't
I
be the
would,
same everywhere.
I would prefer that they left it at local.
Yeah.
Yeah, so would I agree with that.
I just.
That doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen.
Right, yes.
Well, enough people pushed back the last session on that they backed off.
Yeah. Only time will tell on that. The next handout in the packet. These times I need to remember page numbers. Is on the zoning structure approaches. So this we've never really discussed. We can discuss it tonight or just keep it in the back of your mind. The current working draft treats height, density, computing facilities as conditional uses within existing commercial and industrial zoning districts, given the specialized standards that have developed within the ordinance, including decommissioning, financial assurance, monitoring, and long-term site responsibilities. There may be value in considering whether another zoning structure could also be approved. So I have a few approaches that are provided for background and future consideration. They're not mutually exclusive. They could be modified or combined if the commission chooses, or we can leave it as is, with allowing the C1, M1, M2, that they're already geographically eligible for consideration of a high density computing facility.
I'm kind of lost in what. I understand the differences, but I don't understand. How do I want to say it? How it'll actually work.
It's just different checks and balances,
Yeah, so I'm
essentially.
trying to figure out which is, what's going to work best for us, right?
Mhm.
And when we get to that point, it's kind of, my thought is, what's gonna work best for you?
Mhm.
I mean, I think we cover everything doing any of these,
Right,
right?
yeah.
Whether we need to change or not, I mean, I have no idea.
I think with the limits that we have being in the M1, M2, or C1 works well, and the reason is if somebody wants to come in the middle of somebody's farm, we have to rezone it, so it would be more
Yeah,
public
right, yeah,
rather than I think doing a dedicated, because my concern with doing dedicated zoning, I'm not sure, you know, if we just say it can only be in this part of the county or this part of the county. My concern with that is that are the utilities going to be there and are we gonna overwhelm that area?
Good point.
That would be my concern.
my other thought was, okay, so. And I don't know whether this is possible or not, but, so you have an existing building. Factory plant, whatever it is, that closes down, they have an empty building. Those people want to come in and put a data center in that building. And it's already zoned for that purpose.
Right.
Then what? Is there any restrictions put on or any checks and balances that you can use? Or are they just automatically able to because it has already zoned that M1 or M2 or C1,
Mhm.
and it's an existing building. Wasn't designed for that originally. People, the neighbors, you know, are all in some other type of business. They might not be thrilled with that.
Would they still have to get a conditional use permit though?
Correct,
They
so
would.
they would still have to
They
go
would
through
just-
that.
Right, right.
They would still have to go through that.
They just wouldn't go through the zoning board of
Right.
supervisors.
Right.
Board of adjustment, they would just go through the board of adjustment.
Certainly do it. Okay,
Yeah, so there's
kind
kind
of
of checks and
check,
balances,
yeah.
no matter which way, there's just more. We'll leave it out there. We'll just leave it out there.
yeah, yeah. It's something to think about, yeah.
Sure. So then next, with the early public engagement and the economic development community benefit agreement. Just two other things that I came across while looking at what other counties are doing. Our current draft already has the formal public hearing plus the 1 mile courtesy notice for the rezoning. And and for the further adjustment. Some counties have added a separate informational meeting before the land use hearing. So in other counties are having the applicant have a meeting kind of like how when the Jackson Estates, when the public spoke, they said that it would have been nice if they would have been approached. So just kind of this is what's going on, like a heads up.
I'm not opposed to that. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. But-
My concern with that is if we force it on these, are we going to push it for other manufacturers?
I had that in my head. I knew you were gonna say that.
And
That's- and it's a good point.
Because here's my point on this. There are other manufacturers that could well exceed the noise that a data center has.
Mhm.
But yet we're gonna restrict a data center.
Cause
And
it's
not,
called the data center.
because it's called a data center
Mhm,
and not something else. It's my point.
It's a good point.
mhm. Which takes us back to the zoning structure,
Mhm.
that if it's structured for the data center, then you will do that stuff for the data center.
And are we being unfair to data centers? When maybe we should require it for all heavy industrial? Just a thought.
So by doing that, you would go with approach one.
And that would be
You knew that was.
We're gonna be kicking it down the road, right?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with it. I mean, you know, from
It just makes it a longer process.
I mean, it does.
Or, yes.
And-
It's drawn out more, and it's, yeah, I mean. And, but you're gonna, to me, yeah, you're gonna have to do it to everybody,
Or just, I
or
mean,
make
yeah,
specific things for each
yeah,
Yeah,
kind of business or
Right.
whatever kind of thing, and then it's really get detailed.
Right.
and
If it needs to be rezoned, we're gonna have a public hearing, right?
yeah, we have to have a public
So-
hearing.
That more than likely, it's gonna have to be rezoned anyway. Is there enough correctly zoned properties now that you could fit a data center on in the county without having to rezone?
Depends on how big they wanna be,
right, yeah, that's for sure.
which
Well, I-
depends on the utilities.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It depends on where they want to site. And, you know, it all comes down to, okay, you know, do they have the proper transmission line coming, you know, close enough that it makes it, you know, feasible to, you know, get power to there.
Mhm,
That's really the biggest determining factor.
right.
I do like this adding a separate economic development agreement and community benefit agreement,
Yeah.
that they're bringing something that's gonna benefit us,
Mhm.
because the jobs usually are not,
Is that it?
other than,
Zoning.
other than the front thing, but that, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
That's not a zoning thing, and the other part of it is, what we're looking for is more tax dollars coming in. And with some of the restrictions that the state has put on, property taxes, bringing businesses like this in brings more property tax dollars.
As long as we're not giving them incentives to come in.
Exactly, exact, but you know, we can't dictate.
No, I know, but
Yeah, no,
I mean, like, could work together to make
Right,
that way,
Yeah.
right?
But then again, is that really our job?
No, it's
that's
not,
not our
it's
job,
not.
that's not our job.
And the other thing in talking, people are still confused that this board is dictating what is happening in the city of Macocota.
Yeah,
So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I run into that too.
so what we're going to have for a business coming into Jackson County, rural Jackson County, to just be put on a piece of agricultural property, there, I'm guessing there probably aren't that many sites in the county that would fit the zoning.
As far as electrical.
Right, right,
But
that it's going to be known if something is coming in, I mean, it is going to be known. And as far as other businesses, how many other businesses that are going to be noisy, that are building on a piece of rural Jackson County ground?
The other common misconception is that you guys are paid, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Not enough.
mileage. You're making mileage.
Get a little more because of that detour.
Yeah. So if I can find something that sticks to zoning for economic development, community benefit, I will research that.
Yeah. I just don't. think that's our-
Yeah,
I understand it, I get it, you know, there should be, because from what I understand from the. What I read about the thing that was coming to Cascade, there was economic benefits for the. I almost don't want to say the city.
The development.
What do they call it, their development.
Their
group or
development.
whatever, yeah,
Mhm.
for gaining, but they were using, going to be using that money for other projects in the city.
Which they're developing.
Parks or streets or something kind of thing, but. That hasn't gone anywhere since, and so.
One other
It's
thing,
more oriented.
in reading some of these others in that area, they were looking at, trying to find out how much water was actually being used. The DNR really was not able to necessarily always get a handle on that because it's not always required that it be reported to them. There were some of these counties that were looking at putting a limit on the water that could be used.
we can't do that though. I mean, that's not part of with the zoning. Commission is.
So I'm not sure how they were going to do that, but it was being discussed.
I mean, they can discuss it and they can put it in, but it's not legal for
yeah,
them to do it.
the supervisors can
Supervisor.
negotiate something like that, but in zoning, a zoning ordinance. There was, I was telling Becca, sometime like a month or 6 weeks ago, there was a judge's ruling, it wasn't in Iowa. That, you know, the zoning could only regulate certain things and the amount of electricity and the amount of water use was not in that list.
I could see that, but somebody should.
Right, that's what I'm saying, the supervisors maybe,
So somewhere it should be discussed, somewhere it should be discussed, if
Just-
others have decided that it's necessary to be discussed. And maybe we're not in an area where that's a concern, I don't know that geographically, geological, any of that.
Right. That, Kelly Gerlach with when she, interviewed the Iowa Geological on their, whatever her YouTube is, that was super interesting.
So is that Nancy May? I
Yeah, that's
listened to
what it was.
Nancy, it's not,
Is it Nancy
yeah.
or Kelly? I don't know, one of
Nancy.
those, yeah.
And that was the one that talked about, well, maybe if you were in Arizona, it would be a bigger concern. Is that the same one?
Yeah.
Because they're already in a short supply,
Mhm.
where our area right now may not be affected because of the source of water that we have.
Right.
Like it would be many years before we would ever be affected.
Mhm.
I can't remember what it was in that interview, but that geologist talked
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, very interesting with the amount of test wells in Iowa and then other states. Which brings us into the next one, pretty much, the cross-boundary impacts and regional coordination. This one, I'm sorry, I'm just throwing this one at you today, right now. It's the separate handout, it's not in the booklet, because I just did it this afternoon.
Oh, is that when you had the?
Yeah, as I was listening to a podcast today. And, I have missed putting it into the, HDCF draft because there is something about that in the WEX draft. Or the WEX ordinance, and that was discussed when we had the joint meeting with the Board of Supervisors in November of 2024, I believe that was.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So it kind of hit me today when I was listening to the podcast that we didn't have this in there. And although Jackson County's zoning authority ends at the county line, potential impacts from a large facility may not. And speaking of the aquifer, like the aquifer doesn't end at the county line. So, yes, just having some language in there about that. And I do on the third page have some suggested language to add. That kind of keeps it in line with the WEX ordinance. But of course it is a little different.
Of course, the other part of it is, if we've got somebody that wants to build across county lines, then they would have to submit applications to both counties. So,
You're talking about something that just is right up to the county line.
But
They're
potentially.
less than a mile from.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Less than our setback.
Exactly, yeah. Again, no hurry on putting it in. It's just out there.
So this is speaking of as if something was gonna be built in Jackson County,
Right.
how it would affect up there.
How we're gonna be nice, but.
Yeah, what about?
Well,
when it's-
the precedent could be set.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy,
Which is, you did it with the wind ordinance. And that's in there. It's-
no, what I'm saying is,
Yeah,
what I'm saying is what happens if Dubuque County builds and it's gonna affect the aquifer in Jackson County, is there any recourse that we have? Probably not.
well, it would be nice if they would put this in their ordinance. as
Right.
similar.
But there's nothing we can do. They have to do it on their end rather than. Okay,
They have to be nice.
because, you know, right, yeah, right.
We both,
Yeah, yeah.
whoever it is has to work together with
Right.
us at the time.
Yeah, any of our boards.
Well, there is some question if they put in the big data center, you know, there south of Dubuque, you know, that would, you know, potentially, you know, affect northern Jackson County. So there's been talk of it. I don't know if that would be true or not.
so my question is, after we did that with the WEX ordinance, did any of the other counties incorporate that into their WEX?
I know, I got to thinking of that later today too, and I
I
hadn't,
don't think Clinton did.
Let's find that out and see if they did, see if Clinton Jones or Dubuque did.
What was your question? If they,
we put it in our wind ordinance, did any of the other
Oh,
counties,
yeah.
bordering counties
pick up on that.
pick
I
up
see.
on that?
I see.
Because Clinton was after us.
Yeah, but they were in a little different situation too,
True.
and I don't think it's in that. Also, I missed it.
Yeah.
Is that lawsuit finished or is that dropped?
Did they ever put an ordinance for, did they ever finish it for?
They
They
did.
did, and they got sued over it.
Not by the company though.
No, it was, I think, it was by landowners, and I think that was, I don't know where that's sitting at.
And Nextera decided to, just get out of it completely, is what they told us. At the tour. They decided they didn't, if the people didn't want it, then they were not gonna be there. So yeah, I think, yeah, it was a lawsuit with MPO. Okay. So the county comparison is still in development. So that, I think we can become into a little bit of a holding pattern with the HVCF draft.
Right.
We're in a good position, I think, with what we have in there, what could potentially be in there. We'll seek out other agency review, have the county attorneys review what we have.
Oh, we had it all squared away.
Uh-huh. Not even close, sometimes, yeah. I listen to, yeah, the news or a podcast, and I'm like, wow. There's more. It doesn't.
It's
end.
always more.
There always more, but the one thing that it is a very good working draft. The term I keep coming back to is we don't want to just move the goalposts. When an applicant applies for something, we don't want to be like, oh, now you need to do this.
Right.
Now you need to do this. We want a good base.
Channel 9 News was having a meeting tonight, a forum tonight at the Pickle Palace at 6:30. I'm hoping I can.
Oh, was that tonight? I
That
thought I
was
missed
tonight.
it, and I was
Yeah.
gonna try, I was gonna look that up today too. I can't remember the date.
And they're doing a
We should
forum on
get
data
it.
centers.
Put it on their.
Yeah,
Statement.
on their website, so.
Website.
Oh, good.
Cause I'd be real curious to listen to that.
Right, and who, if they were gonna have experts there,
Mhm.
I wonder.
Hmm.
They're just preaching. Experts.
Yeah,
hmm
people with credentials who actually know what's going on and not paid by one lobbyist group or another is what I'm hoping they were going to put on.
Yeah, no, I do want to see that too.
Or volunteers to pay by.
Yeah, we're pretty much experts at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I welcome an expert opinion.
I think it's somebody from the University of Iowa, I think it's somebody from Ohio State.
Yeah, and then this that the University of Iowa had put together, that was. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Some of this you guys have already,
Cause like we've done a lot.
you've already done so much of that, that I was like, where was this? How many months ago?
Yeah.
You guys started from scratch with it.
Huh, they maybe took it from us.
I know, that's what I was. Where'd they get this
Put in
information?
there and see if there are credits.
Yeah.
Your hard drive locked down?
Yeah. No. Okay, so looking ahead, September, August, September, is next month. To utility scale solar and battery energy storage systems. I can't say I haven't drafted any ordinance language, because I did kind of sketch out a little bit of a, thing to follow slightly, but, that will be the next ordinance subjects that we will work on. So I will go back through this draft ordinance, our WEX ordinance, take a look at what other Iowa counties are doing. I believe Johnson and Lynn both have good solar.
Speaking of solar, there was a report on the scanner page that the Andrews School Bus facility had a solar panel fire.
That was.
That's what they said. Now, I don't know, can you track down details on that? I can't remember when that was. I know I said that.
About a week or 10 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beginning of August.
I think so.
And then a neighbor said, oh,
August
that's in my
4th.
back door, and I didn't even know anything was going on. So apparently it wasn't.
As discussed during the dispatch call, firefighters responded to a reported fire involving solar panels at the Andrews School Bus Barn. The panels were described as on fire and smoldering, and Andrew fire units arrived on scene. So I kind of like some details on that when we,
The panels, the bat.
I don't know.
Was it the battery?
I don't know. Or do they have batteries? I don't know if they have batteries. With that.
Probably.
No?
Maybe not.
I don't know. Yeah, I doubt, I would doubt it on a small system like that.
Yeah, that's.
It's, yeah, it's expensive, so.
So yes, both utility scale and the battery. That's another thing to come into play is the emergency response, fire safety, equipment separation, coordination with emergency responders, so. A little more impact, I think.
We definitely want input from the emergency response, the
Yeah.
firefighters, before we really get going, because I would like their input for, safety, what are they trained on, what experience that they've had, what do we need to look for?
Good, I can make that happen.
How many fire departments in Jackson County are non-volunteer,
None,
except the ones in the cities?
no, none of them,
None of them?
none of them.
How much training
Some,
are you guys?
there are some paid people.
Some paid people, but the majority are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how much training are you guys getting on, like electrical, battery, kind of
Don't know,
anything
I
else?
retired, so.
I don't, you don't go talk and have beer with them?
Mike gets none.
You're not.
On the job.
Anyway,
That's true.
Job training.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, I've been coming out for quite a few years.
Dean's been lying to you.
But I'm guessing they're not getting,
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're not getting a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because it's not a
Relevant,
big
yeah,
deal in our area.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And
So
what,
that's why I just wonder how much experience the firefighter, I mean,
I-
to collaborate.
well, and I just remember when, the electric cars started coming out, there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of concern when first responders would go to an accident
Yeah, they can put it out.
with they couldn't put it out, there was a lot of concern with that, and so what's been done, what type of training do they have? Because that needs to be,
Or what do they need?
yeah, what do they need?
Oh, for sure.
Who's gonna pay for it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The additional training.
Additional training or even additional equipment that's
Yeah.
required for it. So,
So that would be something that the county should not have to bear the cost of that.
Right, yeah,
So-
applicant's expense, yeah.
and what truly can be done with them at the end of their lifespan, or if one does burn? What, I mean, I've heard so many rumors about what can and can't be taken to a landfill.
or even we've had what, 2 fires already at the waste station? One completely destroyed the building, and then we had another one, this spring? And, you know, what was that caused from? Was that caused from battery? The rumor mill has it that it was
Battery.
batteries.
Mhm.
Was that the cause? So I guess I'd rather hear it from the horse's mouth on that too. On, you know,
Mhm.
Well, there was a smaller one just recently too.
yeah, I think that was this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the third one.
oh, they had a third one.
It was just a few weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Mhm. And rumor mill, that was also battery, I think.
So let's get the facts on that as well.
Yeah.
Um. You know, it used to be fun as a kid, I guess, to throw those in the fire and watch them
Watch
explode.
Part of the problem
Bigger
is
ones.
that they might not be able to determine what started that.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
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 But if
Because
they,
the batteries they're looking at are probably batteries this size that are, you know, a flashlight kind of thing, or a rechargeable, battery that's on your weed eater or something like that kind of
Well,
thing.
in a place
It's
like
not, we're
that.
not talking about a car battery or
no, but,
anything like that.
you know, just to kind of have an idea and, you know, how do they deal with it? Because, you know, if we're looking at battery storage and large solar panels, you know, I guess we need to be aware of that before we dive into an ordinance that isn't conducive to help our first responders.
Okay, so the general process for the next two drafts will be, I will bring a preliminary draft to the commission for review, revision. When we feel we're in a good place, or actually, yes, when we feel we're in a good place, I forgot one of my little arrows there. We'll do a joint work session again with the Board of Supervisors. Public comment. And then, make any revisions that we feel necessary. And then do the public review hearing process for the recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. So we'll pretty much follow the same outline that we did with this one.
So you're thinking we should combine them or two separate ordinances?
The solar and the battery,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, well,
Two separate ordinances. I'm thinking, do we
Yeah.
work on them together?
Yeah.
do them both at the same time.
Mhm.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
Mhm. You guys are becoming pros.
No,
Well, it's just
we'd
we don't
rather
wanna
drag it out.
drag it out.
No, it's
I'll
not.
be done.
Better hurry up.
Yeah, I was stuck with wind. This is yours. This is your baby.
Any other discussion on HDCF draft or utility scale solar or battery?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Okay, so then we should be able to move on to number 6. Items from the staff
Yes, so,
meeting.
September, I will bring a draft for us to work on for the utility scale solar and the battery energy storage systems. Also, I have some other items that I want to get to the county attorney, so if I can get them to him for the county attorney's office for review, and then I can bring those for discussion to the September meeting. Just some zoning ordinance text amendment. Now that I've been working through the zoning ordinance since November. There's just some tweaks and changes and some clarifications that we can discuss when I get those run through county attorney. So that will either happen in September or October. Then we will have the public hearing for that after that, and then present it to the board of supervisors.
You don't have public applications for anything,
Now in this time.
okay?
Okay, does anybody on the commission have anything?
Okay, one question, do we have a moratorium right now for solar?
Yes.
Okay, how long does that last?
That will be until August 31st, 2027.
Likewise with battery then?
Yeah.
Yes, both of them.
That's.
Yeah, so we'll have nearly a year with that.
Yeah.
Always do regulatory extension.
Meeting's at 7 o'clock next month, right?
And yes, so the meeting, I did look that up, it didn't,
Nothing happened.
no.
Yeah.
So the meeting is at 7 o'clock until November.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we change.
We changed in November. I didn't schedule either zoning commission or board of adjustment for December.
okay.
That's good.
No, that quick, I went, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And who knows what the weather's gonna be like in December
Or January.
Yeah.
Miss January.
or like March.
Yeah, we missed January and March.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, do we have any items from the public, anything other than what we discussed on the agenda tonight so far? Anything other than what we talked about? Any gentlemen have anything from Ben? Got anybody online that's wanting to? You got anything, Becca?
JGUER, if you have anything to say, feel free to unmute yourself.
Okay, yeah, I live right up here by that Dubuque County line where they're proposing the other data center. And so in your ordinance, how far is your setback from a county line?
We don't have anything, right? From county line.
From county line, no, we don't have
We
anything.
don't have anything on that.
Yeah.
You don't have anything yet, but did you want Dubuque County? I'm part of the DCA group working with an ordinance up in Dubuque.
Mhm.
And are you looking for a certain, before you guys were talking about if it's too close to a county line, you got to get a permit from both counties. Did I hear that correct?
If it crosses a county line.
Oh, crosses a county line.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I misheard. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I would, you know, because we're to try to decide between 1,000 or 1320. You know, I would hope that if it was built right up to the county line, you know, which this one isn't. But, you know, I'd hope that, you know, we'd be able to enforce, you know, that part of it anyway.
Mhm.
Okay. Because, yeah, the one they got proposed, it's just right across the road.
It is right, just right across the road there?
Yes. If you go on Feeney Road, the north side of Feeney Road is where they're proposing it, you know, supposedly proposing it. And then on the other side of Feeney Road is Jackson County.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, it does.
So are you looking at, wanting something from Jackson County put in?
Well, I'd like to see you guys collaborate with each other. If you could get a hold of their zoning board and make kind of an agreement on something. I don't, you know, it's really up to you guys, but I would really like to see something like that.
Well, maybe you should reach out and find out if there's anybody within, let's say we decide on the 1320 back up. Would there be anybody affected? You know,
Yes, yes, there would be.
Yeah.
our farm and, Walter's farm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Have you discussed any of this with like the surrounding
So
counties?
this literally, I was printing it right before I walked out.
Oh, okay.
So
No,
this was, yeah,
That
that
would
late
be,
in the
that would be
day.
what I'm asking
Yeah,
about.
that would be
Whether
a
the
jumping
other-
off point to,
Yeah.
like he said, about coordinating.
Right.
That's
Possibly.
why, yeah, that's why.
So who would you contact? The zoning administrators in those counties, or do you go? It's like if it's a different group in Dubuque County that's working on it,
But they're working with the zones.
which is, but I mean, I think if their supervisors are doing it, right?
No, it's.
They-
there's some-
Yeah, the supervisors
Supervisors in the
supervisors are
county.
involved in that area.
They were going to
They've
take
got a
that
whole
on
different
supervisor activity to do
Yeah.
data centers.
The way I interpret, they're not have the zoning commission pretty much.
Right.
Hey, Mike, I think he wanted to.
I can speak to some of that if you like, I didn't know.
Okay.
You misunderstood, like you said.
Not what that's
You're
supposed to
correct,
be, but-
yeah, he wasn't supposed to, but
Okay, but,
he allowed.
and I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna talk to you afterwards, you know, like whatever you.
Go ahead and
We got-
address the group, go ahead.
So I am part of that group also, but I do live in Dubuque County, John lives in Jackson County.
So can you say that Dubuque, DAC, is that what he said?
Dubuque Accountability Group.
Okay.
It's got a real long name, but that's what we end up going by.
DAG then, or what did you say, Dubuque Accountability?
The actual name is Dubuque Accountability for the citizens of Dubuque County. Data Center Accountability for the citizens of Dubuque County. So our intent is to hold data centers accountable. So everybody just shortens it up and calls it the Accountability Group or Data Center Accountability. It's grown fairly large, we got quite a following, it's like 2,000 people on our Facebook page and so forth. We've been working with the zoning commission and the supervisors. And we're trying very hard, and the reason I'm down here tonight too, is that everybody's doing what you're doing. And it seems like everybody's doing more research, we've also reached out to other groups similar to this in Lynn County and so forth. And everybody's doing all the same research, putting them together to have the same questions, and it's like, how can we bring this all together and make it better and where we wanna go? We've used like 6 or 7 different ordinances, yours being one of the primary ones, but we're writing what we're calling a starting point. We're not really saying we're writing an ordinance, that's obviously the people like you, but we're trying to assist and work with people. When we brought the ordinances together, plus there's a Sierra group, a Kentucky ordinance group out there, we try to combine all those. We expect to have our first, what we're calling a draft starting point, completed this week. But we're in the same boat as you. Every time you turn around and think you have sort of a handle, something new comes out. I mean, and that's why the longer moratorium, there's so many people that have had even the ordinances. Lynn County went to 18 months, 4 months after the unanimously had a ordinance in place. 4 months later, they went to an 18-month moratorium because there's so much new information. You just can't keep up with it. So that's a big part of this, is you can start to write it. You guys know it, you've been doing it a lot longer than us. And we very much were using a lot of your information, but obviously changing it quite a bit. And then all of a sudden you come up with another 12-month moratorium, and it's like, well, why is this happening? I was here for your last combination group too, and we're really looking at how can we bring all this together? How can you actually learn from it? And I want to point out a couple of things. You're talking about the water earlier, and Dubuque County did have a watershed meeting on August 12th. And that's recorded and everything. And we had the Mike Anderson from the DNR, he's one of the, not the top guys, one of them. Keith Schilling, the geologist from Iowa University of Iowa. And then our stormwater guys, Eric Schmeckel, the watershed. But it's very informative, and from the questions you're asking here, I strongly suggest, I mean, it'd be worth you guys watching it. It's answers a lot of the questions you're saying and creates some more. You know?
He was the guy that was talking about not getting all of the
Right, yeah,
information. That they don't have to report it to the
So
DNR.
DNR controls all the water in the state, yet if they go through municipalities and the municipalities allow the NDAs, they can't get the information, so they can't even tell you how much water everybody's using. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you look at, you know, the situation where you're at. And new stuff. Also Rock Island Fire Department, and I just wrote this down, looked it up for, but on August, I think it was 6th. There's a Channel 6 KWOC has a very powerful thing from the, I think it's a fire deputy. Or either the marshal or the next one under, talking about lithium batteries and how would they run away, and it's unstoppable. I mean, and again, it's only 15 minutes or 10 minutes of, probably a lot shorter than that. But all it does is keep giving you more information that scares you more. I didn't mean to, you know, talk about this, but anyway, that's the reason I'm here tonight, or what we're looking at, is to talk to you. I'd love to talk to Becca and just say, you know, I looked at your quotes on, you know, ever-changing world. And really, that's the biggest thing right now is, Dubuque County they just had a city council meeting tonight, and they had, they've gone as far as having surveys, they've had meetings, and now they decided that it looks like they're gonna be doing a moratorium also. And they don't even have places yet where the city, where they can actually have it, but, it's the same story everywhere you go. Everybody's like, what do we do with this, and where we're at? We're just concerned citizens. Obviously, I got a very big stake in it, and it's right across the road from my house, and the neighbor's house will be torn down. So, yeah, we're pretty motivated. But we have a very large group of highly motivated people, and we'd love to help anybody and have anybody help us get a handle on it. We're not anti-development, we're not anti this, we're just like, hey, we need to protect our environment, we need to protect our natural resources. And if they can fit that in there, which they can, they just don't want to. I mean, it's, you know, the resources are out there, you're restricted to where they need to be, to where they're, and then, you know, with technology that's coming up. But, you know, if they don't have to, they don't. And that's kind of what's been happening prior to all the people waking up is, you know, they get to go in and do what they want. And once they're started with that kind of money, it's hard to put the brakes on after the fact. So anyway, that's, I'd love to meet with any of you, you know, afterwards, or talk to Becker, whatever, and, you know, if we can help, we'd love to. That's what we're trying to do wherever we can. We have an awful lot of, like I said, resources out there. We definitely respect what you guys have in your ordinance already. Like I said, we looked at that in Lynn County, we're very happy to Ellen McKees look at it. Johnson, we haven't, you know, got a whole lot of them. I'm hoping to go talk to them at some point here also, and see where we can go, so. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
They got anything else? For adjourning? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
So we're in a situation where it's much, I don't know. And then, I mean, that's like right on the.